Today I would like to introduce you our most high-end neonatal CPAP machine. And also this one is also our BiPAP system, because actually for this model we can separately set the inspiration pressure and also expiration pressure. So this machine actually it consists of several parts. First is the ventilator part. Also we can see is the screen part. And for this machine is using a 12.1-inch touch screen so that you can control it very easily. And then the second part will be the humidifier. And here we are showing you is the high-end one. And also we have different options that you can choose for meet different kind of requirements from the hospital or end users. The third part will be the air compressor, and it's been used for supplying and provide the medical air in the hospital so that you don't need to find any air source. You only need to contact with the oxygen, then this machine can be worked properly. And then the fourth part will be the hanger. And as you can see, it can be put by the right side and also the left side, because we have the rim and the design, so that in different hospitals, no matter you want to put the machine on which side of the bed, of the patient bed, or the incubator, then you can just do the different settings. And finally, there will be some accessories and spare parts, like actually the tubes and the lines and also the sensor. So now I will introduce you the software first. So let's first look at about the screen part. And the power switch will be on the back side. Once we power on, you will first enter into the self-testing. And you can see actually it just used about 3 to 5 seconds. It's very quickly. So even sometimes you have the emergency operation or usage, then it can also do it very good. Then we will first enter into the standby interface. If there will be any problem, actually it will be shown on the upper side with different colors. I will show you later. So by the standby interface, you can see here on the screen we have the single tube and also double tube. What are the meaning of this? As you can see by here, for the connection now, we can see it connecting with the inspiration port and then directly to the humidifier. And from another port of the humidifier, then it comes out to the patient end. So actually it's the single tube connection. If we want to use the double tube, actually it will be connecting like the ventilator. Here we have the connections, and also we will connect with the expiration port. Then it means the double tube. So for this model, so you can choose from the both options, so that it has more usages, can be used for more kind of the patient or neonatal. Then we can first choosing the connection type, and then it will be the presetting interface. By the presetting interface, we can see here by the single tube, we have the NIPPV, NCPP, and HFNC. And here you can choose any of the mode and press the confirm. And now I also want to show you about the double tube. Under the double tube, we can see it only have the CPAP. And here we can setting for flow, CPAP, and oxygen concentration. It will be similar like some other basic end or middle end models. Okay. So as for this is the high end model, so we will choose the single tube and to check about here. Because under the NIPPV, which we are showing the good performance and advantage for this machine. As you can see here, it has not only the CPAP, it has the IPAP and also EPAP. IPAP means the inspiration pressure, EPAP means the expiration pressure. So it means it can be set separately. So what is the advantage of this setting? Because we know no matter for the patient or for a normal person, actually when we breathe in and breathe out, we have different pressure. So if we can set the inspiration pressure and the expiration pressure separately, that means we can make the patient much more comfortable during the long time using. Okay, then once we confirm about all of the data and the ventilation mode, we can get into the main interface. So by the main interface now, you can see we have totally several parts. The first area will be the upper side. As I just told you, here is the alarming information area. So you can see different colors of the alarms. Now it shows the yellow color, and we also have another kind of the red color. And the red color means the first level, yellow color means the second level. If it comes with the red color, then it means the machine, of course, cannot be used. So you must check the situation first, maybe about the connections or maybe about some leakage. And if it's the yellow color, we will see what kind of alarm it is. For example, now it shows oxygen supply low. It means the oxygen may be not connected. So we must check about the oxygen supply now. And as this is demo machine, so now we are not connecting with the gas, it will be shown like this. And then by the alarming area, we will also show here. This actually is a mute button. is a symbol. So it means once we mute the machine, actually here it will has a symbol and with the time counting with 2 minutes. That means by the next 2 minutes, the machine will be totally mute and silent. It only be used for some time if the doctors think actually the alarm's information actually is not influence the using of the patient, and we don't want the machine to be very loudly and to influence the using and operation. Then we can just press the mute buttons. And then it will also show in the ventilation mode we are using now. Actually, it's for reminding the doctors if you already do the correct settings. And here we will also see the power line. And now it means we're connecting with the AC power. So it will be like this. And if we disconnect the AC power, it will show a battery symbol. Okay, then the second part will be the middle side. And also is the biggest part. Actually, we call it the oscillogram part. And it has the waveforms like here, we should. It's the PT, that means the pressure and time. So actually you can see it has the waveform like the ECG to moving on to help the doctors to know the situation and the using condition of the patient. And then we will know if we need to increase or decrease some parameters. And by here we can also, at the same time, we can show some parameters like the oxygen concentration, the IPAP, EPAP, breathing frequency, and inspiration time. So it can much more help the doctors to know the situation of the patient. Then, by the left side here, we can show the flow meters. So for this machine, actually, we are using the electric, air, and oxygen blender. So all of the flow status will be shown on the screen directly and much more clearly. As you can see here, the first column is for the air, second column is for the oxygen, and by the last one, we can also show the mixed gas flow. So it will be easy for you to operation. And by the below side here, we can also show the pressure. This pressure means the inlet pressure. So sometimes if you don't know the inlet pressure of the oxygen source or air source from the air compressor, you can just check here. We have the electric gauge. And for some other models, we are using the pressure gauge, which is the mechanical one. Okay. Then by the right side, we call the third area. It means actually the parameter setting area. So by here, you can see once we press any button, it has some functions, and I will later tell you. And by the bottom side, actually these are the ventilation mode and parameters which we just set by the presetting interface. So it can remind the doctors to check again if we already done the correct settings for the patient using now. Okay, now let's move on for the functions of this machine. First one will be the parameter settings. And once we press this button, you can see we come to the presetting interface. Actually, it is similar and the same with the presetting interface. So why we also have it here? Because if we go to the presetting interface, actually the ventilation will stop. So actually the patient will be dangerous. So if the patient is already using the machine for a long time, then during the using of the machine, we want to increase or decrease the parameters. We just press this parameter setting because the ventilation will always move on. And after the new settings, it will automatically change into the new settings which you set. Okay. Then for the second one is the alarm setting. For the alarm setting, it has two columns. For the first column here, we call it the alarm limit. Under the alarm limit, it has the oxygen concentration and also the pressure limit. So it means we can set the upper limit and the lower limit for these two specifications. Because we know sometimes in different countries, actually no matter for baby or for adult or for children, actually we have different standard because the patient weight is different and the habit is different. So the doctors can set as per their experience. For the second column here, we call it the alarm information. Actually, it will be same shown on the upper side of the screen. So what is the difference? The difference is that on the upper side, it's showing the alarms now. But for here, this part, we can check also the history alarms. As we can see here, also show the air supply low. It is what happened before. So sometime later, if the engineer come to your hospital for helping to do the maintenance, they can just get into the alarm information area to see what has happened before to this machine, so they will know how to recover the machine to the best situation. And also, if the engineer thinks all of the information, actually the alarms already been solved, they can also do the reset to clear out all informations. The next button will be the system settings. So it also has two sets. The first one will be the oxygen calibration. We know in different countries, actually the oxygen concentration in the atmosphere is a little bit different. So if we want to use the machine in the exact country very accurately, so then we need to do the oxygen calibration. This is only needed to be used by two situations. The first situation is that after the first time you install the machine, before the first time you use the machine, then you need to do it one time. And then the second situation is that if the oxygen sensor actually is invalid, you change to a new one, you need to do it again. This is the only situation in which we need to use this function. So how to calibrate? We can see there are 2 points, 21% and 100%. By 21%, we only connect with the air compressor and not connected with any oxygen. We just press it, and after around 1 to 2 minutes, it will show complete. Then we change to the 100%, and before we press 100%, you just disconnect the air tube and only connect with the pure oxygen. Then we can press the 100% button. Also need about 1 to 2 minutes. It will also show complete. As two all completed, then the calibration is already finished. Now you can use the machine very accurately. By the second column here is for the settings. So here we can see the first one is for language. For this machine now, we already have enough more languages for different countries, people to use. For example, we have the English as basic, and also we have the French, Russian, Spanish, and even some other customized language if you want. And for the second button here is for the touch screen calibration. So because we know actually we are using the touch panel, so here, even the touch screen is not very accurate, and we can also do the calibration here very easily. And the third button will be the nebulizer. Once we turn it on, actually we can use the nebulizer function. And once we use the nebulizer function, you will see here we have a symbol. It means now we are using the nebulizing. So because this machine is especially used for the neonatal and children under 30 kilograms, so mostly this kind of patient, they will need some time to do the nebulizer with the medicine together to be breathed in by their body to cure some illness. So actually this button is very important and this function. And also once you press on, actually this nebulizer function is automatically. And then if you want to finish, you just turn off it again. And the next button will be the time under the manual ventilation. It means you can set the time with the maximum time under the manual ventilation here by the second. And the next one will be the fast oxygen supply. Actually, this one, it means, for example, if we change it to 90, that means once we press the fast oxygen supply, the button is here. Once we press it, it will give automatically for 90 seconds of the pure oxygen to the patient. And for this time, you can set it. And the maximum will be 120 seconds. That means 2 minutes. And the next one will be the add time. And actually, this one is the attitude. It means no matter you are in a very high place or maybe the low end place, actually you both can use our machine very properly without any problem. And then we check about the next button. This button is like a lock, so of course it can lock something. Once we press it, you can see it will be locked and with the yellow color. Then we can see actually the settings, no matter for which setting. Anything can change the parameters now, cannot be used. So it only be used, for example, if the patient to be left alone in the patient ward or the baby to be left alone in the incubator. We just want to prevent any wrong operation. So then we can lock it. After doctors coming back, if we want to do some settings again, we can just unlock it and do the settings again like this. The next button will be the manual ventilation. The manual ventilation means in some emergency situation, if we don't have time to change the parameter, but we need to save the patient's lives, then we can use the manual ventilation here. And you can see, once I press it by the upper side, it will has a hand as a symbol. And when I lose my hand, actually this one will be disappeared. So it means I need to use it, press one time and one time. And every time I press it, actually it will give a big flow of the blended gas. That means the oxygen concentration will not be changed, but the flow will be a high flow. And also under it, we can set in the pressures by under the manual ventilation. So here we can set it. The maximum will be 15. And the next button will be the rapid oxygen supply. Also, we can call it the fast oxygen supply. But no matter what, this button actually is giving the pure oxygen. That means the oxygen concentration is being changed to 100%. So it only gives the pure oxygen, but the flow will never be changed. So here, but as our high-end machine, here we can also change it. For example, here we can also change the oxygen concentration, for example, to 90% or even lower. So just as per your experience and the patient requirement. And once we press it, as I just mentioned to you here, it will show also 2 minutes time counting, because now what we are setting is for 2 minutes oxygen supply. Then the next button here, you can see once I press it, actually there is no any response, because we have the design here. Only if we press it for 3 seconds, then it will enter into the standby interface again. And by now, the ventilation stopped. So only if the patient finished using the machine, or we wanted the machine to have some rest, then we just get it back to standby interface. And then we can power off as per your requirement. Both okay. So the next part will come to this part. We can see there are actually different ports. This port is the expiration port. This port is the inspiration port. If we are using a double tube connection, then both this port and this port will be connected, and also with the humidifier. And by the middle side here, this one is being connecting with the nebulizer. And this one is the ETCO2. And the ETCO2 function for this machine is optional. You can choose it or not. And for this one, you can see the right up P. So of course, it means the pressure. So actually this tube is the pressure sampling tube. With this tube, then our machine can automatically calculate what is the pressure now. So it's actually for the monitoring of the pressure parameters. Then let's see about the humidifier. For the humidifier, actually we have 3 options. The first option, we are using a thermometer by the port here to see the exact temperature. And the second one, actually we will have the screen by here, the middle side, to check the exact temperature. And this one actually is the high-end one. So not only for the digital screen, but also you can see here, we have the servo control. Once we set the exact temperature, for example, we set it about 37 degrees, then this humidifier will always automatically keep the temperature by 37. So it's the most automatically one, and also is the high-end one. So it consists of 2 parts. This part is the water trap, and this one is the basement. So it's very easy for the installation. Once we press this, and we can just slide it out like this. And you can see this is the plate, the heating plate. And once we want to install it, we just press it here and slide in. Then it will be very easy like this to be installed. Then the third part will be the air compressor. For this one, as I just mentioned, it's for providing the medical air to this machine. So you don't need any other cylinder for the air or the central air supply. You only need the oxygen supply. So for our air compressor, we have several advantages. First, you can see by the middle side, we have the digital screen to show the exact output pressure from the air compressor. So you can know actually if the air compressor is working well or not. And also inside, we have 2 core materials is imported. The driven tube and also the pump. Then by the back side, so now we can see by the back side of the air compressor, it has also some more advantages. For example, here we have the main power by here, and also we have 2 auxiliary power sockets. So it means no matter for the humidifier or the main engine, we can all connect by our machine. So it means you only need 1 cable to be connected with the AC power. So actually the power lines will not be crossover and can be used for a long time. And here is the filter. It's very easy to be taken out, and you can clean it and then install it again. And by here we can see this one is the main port for the air output, and then by the same time we are connecting with the water trap. So for this one, some water, if for a long time using, the water can be get inside of this one, so it will not get into the patient body to cause some dangers. And then we're connecting it with the main engine of our machine. So let's come back to our main engine. So by here, this port is the air port, and this port is the oxygen port. But we can see on both of the ports, we both connecting with a small pressure gauge. That means not only you can see about the electric gauge on the screen, but you can also check by here. You can also know what is the input pressure now from the oxygen source and the air source. It's very easy and for safety concern. And for this machine, actually it's writing the 220 volt, but actually we have a wide range of the power supply design inside. So even sometime your country maybe the power and the voltage is not stable, but you can still use our machine very well. And then we come to the handle. For this handle, it has some more functions. As you can see here, it has the first, second, and the third. It has 3 positions. No matter for which position, you can just lose the screw and do the adjusting very easily. So it means when the machine to be putting by the side of the bed or by the incubator or the infant warmer, actually we can very easily to adjusting the handle to make the final nasal plug or maybe the nasal mask very easy lie on the baby's face, so that they can breathe in for a long time with very safety concern and conditions. And for the tube here, actually usually we are giving the reusable tube, but sometimes, for example, if you want the disposable one, we can give you also the options. And for the connection by this part, you can see this one, actually we are using the nasal probe, and we have actually different size for 5 kind size. So no matter for the small baby or big baby, we can all use this. But sometimes the customer may need about the nasal mask, and we can also have another options, and we can connect it with the nasal mask, and then with the hand gel, and also some other lines to be crossed over on the baby's head to make it very tightly. So actually, this will be the whole introduction for this model and our high-end BiPAP system. Thank you.